happy new year, everyone. We are live on this Game Face Monday, and I am Lee Wolf, and as always, Mr. Richie Bello is sitting by my side. How you doing, Richie?
Good. How are you today?
Good. Just recovering from children and cooking and cleaning and trees going up and down, and I'm tired.
Yeah, we're all tired, right?
Yeah, holy cow. But anyway, we're going to be doing a quick, getting a little update on what Richie's doing today, and then taking a look back at 2025, what happened, what goes on moving forward, how things are looking for the industry. But of course, first, just going to catch a quick message from our sponsor, Shop Smart Autos.
We continue to show dealerships across the country how to retain their customers. But now Shop Smart Autos wants to bring the new customers right to your showroom floor. The car they want? It's sitting on your lot. And Shop Smart Autos can bring you the VIN-specific leads that take them straight to your door. These aren't just leads. They're nurtured, targeted, and matched down to the exact vehicle. You'll sell more cars faster, and your team is going to thank you for it. Shop Smart Autos VIN-specific leads. Let SSA show them the way to your showroom floor.
All right, so it is 2026. Feels like a lot of exciting things are coming down the pike. But first, I wanted to ask you, Richie, where are you today? I know you're always.
I'm in Penn. I told you the name.
Pinnacle
Nissan out in Scottsdale. So we're talking to them about a few things. Like, listen, guys, the private seller is like happening a lot all over the country for the last year. And let's talk about that a little bit. So why is the private seller so good versus any other leads? Like you're talking about third-party leads or whatever. Well, it's simple. Why it's really happening is because that is a lead, by the way, but that's a lead of what a customer is selling. I've always said, is it easier to sell somebody what they want than what you want? Absolutely. So also the conversion is not bad when those customers, and it's done right, they come into the showroom. Obviously somebody's selling the car, they're downgrading or upgrading, right?
Right.
And they need another car. They need transportation, right? So it's really, really coming together nicely, this private seller. And there's a lot of companies out there promoting the private sellers. It's costing a lot of money to get these private sellers together. If you look at ShopSmart, you look at the page that says private sellers, and every zip code, I got them all.
Right. Right. So let me ask you this. When it comes to this whole new thought process, I mean, it happens. People are want to get rid of their car, sell their car. Like you said, upgrade, downgrade. This has been around forever, but not necessarily being able to capture all of these leads, right? So now if a dealership gets flooded with a bunch of private seller leads, from a sales perspective, you think there's training involved? Do you think there's a new thought process involved for salespeople?
Well, a lot of stores have, believe it or not, there's other people that are doing private sellers, not just, we didn't come up with it. We actually, in 2000, we saw the opportunity where there was only 900, not even 1 million private sellers. Right now, there's 3.2 private sellers. So we've seen it scale, and there's a lot of reasons why it's scaling. If you go to any store, right? And I don't really say much where I go, what I do. I'm in Arizona. I've been in Arizona here since, I think, December 20th or something like that.
Yeah.
But really, if you go to stores, like we go to different parts of the country, to different stores, you see what the issue is. Why? Let's first talk about why the private seller network went like that. When you have a private seller, right, you know that he already went to a dealership. And you already know, as a dealership, the process.
Right.
What is the process? They go on this mobile app that says Vauto. They appraise it based on Manheim's numbers. Well, those numbers are going to be lower and lower because that audience of Manheim is shifting to the private seller network.
Right.
Because now the dealers don't have the dealer trade.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you look at the numbers where it makes sense, so there's 9.1 vehicles in inventory for sale in the United States, USA. And now there's 3.1 million private sellers. So if you look at how did that happen? Okay, well, it's real simple. There's 1 million customers every single month in the market for a car. There's 650,000 that are special finance. You're looking at 1.6.
Right.
Private sellers, they're out there for 90 days. So that's telling you the number. Humans are creatures of habit. We all know that. If you have a habit that you're going to sell it to the marketplace, to private sellers, you do it once. Now it becomes a habit for you to always do it.
Sure.
Okay? And we already know that based on this. You put a car, Hyundais, in Amazon, and it worked out pretty good, right? There's a lot of people that have the original, the retail, digital retail. They're not doing that great with it, right? But Amazon, why is Amazon doing good? Because we all buy everything in Amazon. Amazon's got the traffic, it's got the brand, and it's got the conversion. When that happens, that's it.
Right. First place I always look.
I went to an event. I met a company that started the company 10 years ago. In those 10 years, he lost every year consistency until he became a brand, until he became something, and until he had enough money, right? And then was able to get first round funding and then became a pretty good sized company.
Right.
Okay. The whole thing with that, it all depends what the market is telling you to do. The market changes. You know, you have COVID, you have this, you have that. So the evolution that we have, based what we wanted to talk today about, that evolution in the last year has created this podcast, right? So the stores that are not using the AI agents and are using private sellers are not being as successful. However, the stores that are using the AI agents or the buying center, there's a huge buying center, all right, that has buying centers all over the place. Just a wholesaler, basically, what he does is buys cars and sells wholesale nationally. Well, he's very successful because he's got AI agents touching it 10 to 12 times. If I give you a list, right, Yuli, that's very good at follow-up. You worked in the car business, one of the best people at follow-up. If you get rejected 3 or 4 times, you're automatically not going to keep going because it has to do with your mindset. The AI agent, there's no emotional type.
Yeah, I couldn't care less, right?
Right. So he'll call 12, 13 times, not to really sell the car, but to funnel it where when that customer is ready and is about to say yes, then that's when you follow it up. So it makes it easier. And the businesses that don't use AI, right, are going to see their market drop, but your competitors are picking up where you're dropping.
Right.
Because you can't help it if somebody tells you no so many times. They got great trainers out there in BDC and all this stuff. Things have changed. And those that haven't changed it are going to stay stuck in that. And the evolution is all about AI. There's mobile apps that answer phone calls for you. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And if you don't get in that evolution, and we know we all don't like it because it's change.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
You know, nobody likes change. Everybody wants everything to stay the same and go. That'd be great if you wouldn't be on Earth, right? There's an evolution here that happens every 24 hours. It goes from day to night, and the next day it goes back to day, right? So it changes, right? And Earth is circling, right? And we don't feel it, but it's changing, and that's our evolution.
Yeah,
it is changing, and if you're not doing the change according to the change, you're not competing against your competitors,
right?
And that's the biggest thing. Now, it's overwhelming. Actually, some stores are overwhelmed about it. A lot of stores don't even really understand it and don't really care. So there's a lot of great salespeople that are pitching you this AI. A store doesn't really care. You know what a store cares about? The results.
Right.
All you got to try to do is tell him the results. Don't be impressed with the technology you have, because, you know, he's not really listening to you. And the one thing about certain personalities and people, if it doesn't interest me, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in drama. I'm not interested in anything else but what I'm interested in. That's it. If you start talking to me about this, about that, you know, who cares? I'm not interested. It doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't. I go to stores and guys there are complaining, this, that, you know, I don't care about that. I don't care that you don't have no traffic. I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't care. I care about what's going to be happening to that dealership if he doesn't go and pull the trigger, and what their process is. Okay. If you had 50 ups, right, in a week, and you didn't sell any car, then you need training. Then you got to revisit everything and not sit in the showroom. They're all hanging out, drinking coffee and complaining and this, that. Doesn't really matter, because customers hear you. Even if you are in a room, you're talking a little bit too loud, that other customer hears you. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Do you know what matters? What you got in front of you. What matters is that you take care of it.
Right.
Not, oh, you know what? I'm leaving here. You know what? This place, you know, and then, you know, I have a catering hall that has that problem. So they got somebody in from the automotive sector. All the guy does is just no leads, no leads, no leads, no leads, no leads. Well, go make some leads, you know. You talk to 3 or 4 people a day, you know. That should be enough for you to do something. So it doesn't really matter. And this is why the private sellers and leads have to be going to AI agents. Trust me. The AI agent's not going to make the appointment for you. Let's say he doesn't, but he funnels it through it and nurtures that opportunity. Get it done. Prospecting, for an example, right? Take the list from your DMS of the last 30 days that a customer went to your service department. Tap in the AI agent and start making calls to get people in the door to sell their cars. That's one of the biggest outlets for private sellers. You know, when I was in sales, right? When I was a manager, you know what I used to do when I heard salespeople say there was no traffic?
Hit the
I
service
used to give a list to everybody every day. But the guy that said that he had no traffic, you know what I used to do? Instead of 500 people, I used to give him 2,000 people.
Right.
And when he kept saying to me, there's no, I said, how many calls did you make? We'll get back to making calls, until you either break him or he moves on. You have to be proactive. You can't just sit back and say, is this really going to work? And why isn't it working? Well, are you proactive enough for it to work? And that's what the issue is. Dealers, your private sellers are sitting in your DMS. They're sitting in there. Put your sales force to work.
Absolutely.
Get private sellers. Get this right now. Why does everybody want private sellers? Because it's much more better to get a private seller. And that's the new evolution. I really think, you know, like I always say about third-party leads, I really think that is the new third-party leads. Because that customer is selling their car. that customer is going to be buying a car, whether it's from you or for somebody.
Right.
You have first shot because you're buying him a car.
Right.
That customer becomes loyal to you because you bought him, you got him out of the car. And if you do it right, if you make the customer feel good and you make the customer feel good that you're buying the car because you have a different value set than their competitor, and you care more about the customer's car than selling him a car, you're going to have a customer for life.
Yeah. Yeah. You're producing tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called sales.
Right.
That's what it's called. Hi, who's hiring a salesman?
Right. Right.
You know?
So,
I mean, really, that's what it's called, sales.
yeah. Yeah.
You got to make people feel good every time you make them transactional.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And that's in any industry.
Right. In any industry, right. If you have a customer and you don't make them feel good on the transaction, when they leave, they're going to tell people about their bad experience and never come back. If you do it the opposite way, they're going to leave and tell everybody, word of mouth, everybody how great you were.
Right. Yeah.
So the private sellers are scaling in such a way that the auctions numbers and revenue have actually dropped. The audience has dropped. Who wants to go online and bid a car? Okay. You need a guy, bang, bang, bang. Who wants to pay a buy fee? And who wants to get a car shipped versus this? You're buying a local car, right? You're helping your community, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you might be the dealer that serviced that car. You might have all the records.
Right.
Or your competitor has all the records. So it's very easy for you to call your competitor and say, I'm looking for the RO for this car once you bought it.
Right.
I'm looking for the history. That history goes right in the folder. Now you have all that reconditioning.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
There's a lot of things that can help people out. This is 2026, okay? COVID is over. There's a new marketplace. And get ready, there's new challenges out there, you know? Certain places with the economy that I'm really tied in with hedge fund companies.
Mm-hmm.
My partner, Michael Ohnheim, I have the data of the labor board. It ain't about, it'll just look at that, okay? Mm-hmm. That's going to be changing rapidly now, okay? That's going to be getting much better and much better than where it was, okay? There was a lot of money that we laid out while COVID, and that's what you're seeing. Now the economy is going to get a lot better because it's coming together.
Right.
I just saw a report on a screenshot yesterday, and it looks like things are changing rapidly because, you know, there's a time where things start working out better. The mainstream media is not letting anybody know what went on the whole year. Of course not, because why would they? But trust me, the hedge fund people know what the problem is because they pay attention to Big Pharma and they pay attention to the automotive sector.
Right.
Right. Those are the two sectors that tell you the futures of the economy. Right. There's people that bank on the futures in the stock market.
Right.
You know, there's people that bank in the futures of the gold, the oranges and all that, but you need the futures of the economy so you can really understand it. And that's who the people that I deal with that are my business partners.
Right.
Ain't that I'm a hedge fund company, but I have partners that do have that, right? So that's where I get all this information. You look at my email, right? My email shows you all the Google searches like, you know, layoffs, this, that. It shows you all that stuff, right?
Right.
There's a reason for that. Right? Because that's one of my partners' companies, right? So I have to have that to just identify where. But right now, the thing is, it's going to get bigger and scale because when you can buy cars from the private sector cheaper than going to the auction, you're helping the local economy. Right. Understand, the local economy now is hurting between what Macy's doing, what all these things are doing. But there's one thing that it's not hurting on. You're helping your local economy. You're getting those cars out of their hands, and putting them in other vehicles.
Mm.
Right? What is helping the local economy a lot is the Uber drivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Lyft drivers, the DoorDash driver, because it's local, right?
Right.
So that's something that if the rest of the thing goes away, it doesn't matter, because that's something that's coming in, right? Of course, Uber's making a lot more money, but it doesn't matter because it is helping your local economy.
Right.
Right. And then in the automotive sector, because for you to make a living in a Uber, you need to drive 300 miles a day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take the number of 300 miles a day times 365 days, let's say, right? If you want to make $1,800 a week, that's what you got to drive. That car gets old real fast.
Yeah.
That car gets maintenance real quick. So the fixed ops has grown too.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that. So when you look at all these new things, that's why the goal here is, with all this evolution that is going out, let's funnel it out. Like, you got a guy like Curtis, right? He's got great technology. I keep seeing that technology over and over again, and it's great. The more I look at it, the better it is. You got Chris Martinez. I don't want to use anybody else but him for the private sectors, right? For the private sellers. Why? Because he's that good, right?
Yeah.
So you have different type of technology coming in, and there's a little bit of a fight. The people that have a virtual BDC don't want to give up that virtual BDC and say, well, yeah, well, maybe so, this, that. No, it actually, if you look at it from a perspective of a virtual BDC, it makes sense. Years ago, when AI started coming out, remember that platform we had that was not ChatGPT?
With a J, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
You told me in a conversation, which is, there's something that we can do for marketing with AI. At the time, I says, no, I don't know anything. It was
right.
you, right? Remember you told me that?
Mm-hmm.
Today, you have SEO AI, which we have the platform. Today, you have a lot of marketing perspective that has a lot to do with AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's automation and AI. And you told me that. We just didn't figure that out. And, you know, others did, because that's not something that was ready to do.
Right.
But now we, first of all, got the AI with the SEO, right? So that's a product line.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that really do? That helps the voice SEO. That's what that really does. Because now the questions and answers are on Google when you have AI SEO. That's all it is, right?
Right.
Let's take the word AI off the vocabulary, and let's say, what kind of product is this? Questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
Those questions and answers hit all the searches. Voice picks it up.
Right.
Why is that? Because voice is getting bigger than search.
Right.
And how is that? Why? How did we arrive at that? Because everybody's using this thing with the voice.
Yeah.
You say, hey, dentist near me. Do you go on Google and write it?
95% of the time, everything I do is voice. I even do it with my television now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your age group does that. My age group, I still go online to see what's on there, and that I don't use voice for that much, right? Mm-hmm. And besides that, I got one of these between the Cuban accent and the New York accent and the Jersey accent. Forget it. There ain't a voice thing that can understand me, you know?
Right.
And my vocabulary is not the best vocabulary there is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just doesn't work like that.
So 2025 was a big year. Big topics hit every few months for us. We started the year really strong with VIN retention, went into VIN specific leads. Now towards the end of last year into this year, we've been talking a lot about private sellers coming to the showroom floor. But going back to the beginning, VIN retention. still going into 2026, an important topic for dealerships, right? I mean, with
Yeah.
all these AI bots and all these leads and all these things we're pulling in,
Yeah.
retention health, everyone still needs to be looking at, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff out there. Like, you take VinSight, they got a pretty good, decent product on the VIN retention side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how they're doing. I don't talk to them that much. But I'm sure their product is really nice because their product was always good.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. JP does a very good job. Paul does a very good job on his VIN retention
Mm-hmm.
platform. So I think they're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's more and more coming out. There's a company out in Houston that I had here on the podcast that is a retention company. They got their own thing now with this AI thing too, and they're doing really, really good. So the market is coming together, and it's nice to see that these technologies are working.
Yeah. And what do you
It's
think?
really understanding it. That's what it is for the dealer sector.
Yeah.
And I got a piece of advice for dealers. Don't try to overthink or understand it. Just look at one thing, the results.
The results, right.
That's it.
Yeah, without a doubt. So moving into 2026, any predictions for artificial intelligence where you see, or machine learning, or where do you see things heading from here?
I see the dealerships using it more. I see there's a lot of companies that are nurturing leads. So are we, by the way.
Yeah.
I see a lot of those companies. The dealer has to be like okay on it.
Right.
They have to be, well, okay.
Yeah. This is a change.
Without the nurturing, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tremendous. I mean, and I've said it in other shows. I was the guy that wanted nothing to do with email 20-something years ago. I watched everyone text around me for years, and I said, I can't. What is the point of this? I talk to people, or I write an email.
right.
Then I went over to texting, online, the streaming services, making purchases online. I was this old school thinker that, none of this stuff, this will never be the norm for me. Now I think I do the texting and the online buying and all these things more. And now I don't even type. Everything I talk to the computer. I talk to the TV. I don't even open up my kids. My 9-year-old turns on the television and says, turn on Netflix to the TV now.
Right.
So to think that we're going to, just knowing all the times in my life that I've tried to reject the oncoming technology wave and the change, AI is something that is really
happening.
Yeah, this is really a game changer. Like, it's major. It's major, and it's
really
going to infiltrate everything we already know. But who the hell knows what it's going to create from here?
When I was with different companies, one of them was Reynolds, right? And Polk and the Nicholson Group. I remember when we were on web-based. We didn't have web-based. When web-based happened, it was a spin. Like, you had the Reynolds and Reynolds terminals. They weren't web-based. Now they're all web-based, right? So that evolution, I was there, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of dealers that, no, I want the same old thing. I want the same. I don't want it yet. I don't want it yet. And once they got adapted to web-based, then that's it. It made life easier for them.
Right.
Once they get adapted to AI, is going to make life easier. I know that other technologies are coming, okay?
Yeah.
And I know that the digital assets and our currency, that's what I really going to say. That is changing, guys. When you look at JP Morgan, Chase, when you look at Bank of America, and when you look at all these banks that added in 2025 the new terms and agreements that say about your digital assets, Okay. That said, that once it converts your terms and agreements, what am I going to convert? They don't have to tell you about it. Your cash or whatever you have is going to turn into that kind of assets. Well, you better start paying attention to that, because that's even bigger than AI. There's going to be people that are not going to understand it, the digital assets, and are not even going to know what went on.
Right. Yeah. Oh, all right.
There's companies out there that are getting investors, syndication, real estate are getting investors, not with liquid, coin-based.
Right.
Whether it's Bitcoin or whatever. So that keeps happening. They're out there, they're doing business. That keeps happening. It's going to be like digital assets.
Yeah.
You got blockchain. That's nothing more than a journal, you know? You got to put it all. And one of the things about blockchain, once you put it on there, that's it. You got the history and records like a VIN number.
Right.
Once a VIN number is out online, that's it.
Right.
Now you have a ledger of that VIN number and you track that VIN number. It's over. So that's bigger by far than AI.
Right.
Because AI is going to be on blockchain. Software is going to be on blockchain. You're not just going to have it on the depositories, GIT, Hub, and all that. You're not going to have it on there, you know. You're going to have it in different types of things, you know. GIT Hub is where everybody puts their software. That's where we have it and all that. It's going to be over. Yeah. There's going to be blockchain, because now it has the history. Every time you do the new data, the code source has history, you know. Right. There's a couple of things you got to pay attention to. Big data. And the new currency that's about to hit, so it's going to come out, which is digital assets.
Right.
Two things, right? The stock market will always be the stock market, but if you see it, no matter what, it's not that what it was, because everything's going towards digital assets.
Right.
And, you know, it's like really, really important, because that has a lot to do with AI.
Right.
That's why these family office and these funding people are giving you funding with AI as long as you own the code source, not using AI API, which a lot of these companies that do the service retention, all that, that's all it is. It's not their technology. It's like an API.
Right.
What happens if one day Gemini says no more API? What about if they say ChatGPT no more? Then what do you do?
Right.
See, with ShopSmart, it's not about that. With ShopSmart, we have our own technology.
Right.
Nobody can tell us, well, you're not going to be using that no more. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, it's a different planet. Yeah.
Right. You need your own technology. And a lot of these companies that have this great retention tools and all that, we have our own technology with Clickable, with the vid retention report.
Right.
That's our own software.
Right.
When you do the software, you have something of value.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what's going on.
Right. All right. Let's break away for 1 minute for another message from Shop Smart Autos. And I want to ask you quickly about the book, because I know that's coming down the pike.
Yes.
Shop Smart Autos knows the new car market is starting to take a back seat, and pre-owned is where it's at. That's why it's time to seriously tap into the private seller market. With Shop Smart Autos, your dealership can now target private sellers by zip code and radius. Yes, anyone looking to sell their vehicle in your area. Once you decide how many opportunities you want and start reaching out, Shop Smart Autos launches a complete dealer-branded nurture program that drives those sellers straight to your showroom. And the best part? You get all the details on the seller and the vehicle, so you know exactly what you're dealing with. So grab that trade, put them behind the wheel of their next vehicle, and create a world of growth and retention. Auctions are cutting into your profits, and sourcing quality pre-owned vehicles takes too much time. Shop Smart Autos has the answer, driving the private seller market to your door.
All right. So the book, Ignite Your Might. Do we have a launch window?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be late January.
Okay, cool. And
We had to come up with some new pictures and all that because it's really, I want to really show it like it's real. It's not a story. A lot of people make up stories.
yeah,
This is not a story. This is real stuff.
yeah, especially your journey. I mean, I lived a lot of that, knowing you, because I know you now. Geez, I think I met you in September of 2018. So that's been quite a bit, over 7 years. And I've definitely seen your transformation and your knowledge of, you have so much knowledge in the technology and the software and that world, data, but nutrition and health wasn't really your thing. And I've watched you in the last, especially the last 5 years, really grow and learn a lot and watch a lot and listen a lot and absorb a lot. And it's been pretty cool to watch. So I'm excited for the book.
I started fasting because, the holidays, that's so hard, but I didn't really gain anything, but I started fasting again,
Yeah. I got to get my butt back to the gym more times a week.
Back to the gym. I started going back to the gym again. It took a little bit break. I always do it every year. Everybody does. You can't have so much discipline like that. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's back to that.
Yeah.
Cool
deal. And the book is Ignite Your Might, and all the proceeds are going to Soldier Angels, right?
Correct.
Very cool. All right. Well, anything else to add on with the new year here?
No, I'm just looking forward to the new year. I want to get, out there. I want to really get all our products that we've developed for quite some time now out there.
Yeah.
I'm looking to have a great year,
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And and thanks to everyone that's been sticking around, watching us and listening and hanging in there with Game Face Monday. And Richie, thanks for having me by your side as always.
Thank you, buddy. God bless. Take care.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.